that's a tough orange too, so a little more vibrant than Auburn. Auburn's a little bit more subtle, but they're just as bad too. So he'll be okay though.
Mondre's running style. Like, well, obviously you're not seeing him when it's live. But
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because he's very interesting. He's not like LeGarrette. Like, LeGarrette was such a huge physical back and could do some really good things too, obviously. But Ramondre has that ability to stick it in there, get downhill, but also like I think there was a duo play we ran, and he's out on the corner and making a guy like that miss and things like that. So, he's got such good short space quickness, things like that. So, he's really dynamic back, in a lot of different phases.
And that moment in the huddle when he decided he wasn't coming out.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, how is that received by?
Let's go like that. Huge, and you in a moment like that, you want a guy to be, I don't know, selfish if that's the right word. Like, give me the ball, let me finish this game. And he's not a selfish guy, but you know what I mean. Like, you want that confidence, I guess, is more the word. And he knew he could put the game on ice, and he did.
You were talking with Gerard, just the importance of week 1 to week 2, just that jump. You've obviously been around quite some time. How important is this week? I mean, it's a long season, but this week in particular.
No, I mean, you're right. Each week is more important, and the play from last week isn't going to carry you to win the next week, right? It's what you do Monday, Tuesday. Obviously, today is a huge work day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then come Sunday. So, none of that stuff, necessarily carries over. You got to go earn it each week, but I think it's very good for guys to see what they did good in the game. A full game's film worth. See what they did good, see what they did bad. And the other team's looking at that too, right? So like that's a big thing as like a younger player. Like, all right, what was something maybe I struggled with? Because they're going to see that too. And that's a huge thing, trying to correct those things and move forward. But like you said, it's a race every week to see who can get better. And that's what you try to do throughout the year. And been on teams that have done that and teams that have kind of struggled doing that. So, that's a big thing throughout the year.
David, you mentioned
Go ahead, Bob.
You haven't seen Seattle since 2020.
Yeah.
Their personnel has changed significantly, it seems. And obviously they have a new coach. You've known for his aggressive style.
Yeah.
What do you see personnel and scheme?
Yeah, I think one thing kind of jumps out, very veteran type group, Leonard Williams, Reed, those guys, 2 veteran players, Hankins inside and their base stuff, very veteran group, with some dynamic players, and obviously, some crossover with Baltimore stuff, and it'll be a big challenge. Obviously, it's the same every week, and you hate to say it, but it is true. Like playing ahead on down and distance, playing on your terms, where you kind of have to make them defend the whole field per se, right? And you're sitting there at 3rd and 12, 10 plus. Obviously, that's where they can be more aggressive. You're more one-dimensional. But really good front. Do a lot of different things. With guys kind of all over the place. They'll bring some of their edge guys inside, whatever it may be. So, it'll be a big challenge.
David, how do you look at your excitement level for the home opener?
Yeah.
But also, I think you guys were 1-7, if you include Germany, 1-8 at home.
Yeah.
How much of it to establish something at home with this team?
I think that's huge. And come out and especially you can play from ahead at home. Is a big thing. Crowds involved, things like that. It would be a huge help for us Sunday. So. Want to start fast at home, play the game on our terms, and hopefully the fans are excited as we are to come back here and open this thing up at home.
To come back to work 1-0 to start a new era, how much does that win provide in terms of just the buy-in in the locker room?
Yeah, look, I mean, it definitely is huge, right? I talked about that after the game, but like I said, a lot of that stuff, isn't going to carry over. Like, you got to go earn it this week. I think guys had belief from the jump that we could play how we wanted to play and knew what we needed to do to win the game. And, obviously we got to do that this week, and it'll be different, a style of play this week with a different opponent. So that's what we'll have to do.
I know you mentioned that there were some run blitzes that the Bengals were using last week, and it seemed like some pressures also got home. After looking at the tape, how correctable do you feel like some of those lapses may have been?
Yeah, very much, and some of that scheme stuff, some of that's, adjusting. And, we kind of figured out how we wanted to get to it. We kind of took a dip in the third quarter per se, but then, kind of came back in the fourth quarter and figured out how we wanted to adjust to that. And and obviously, we're able to finish it out how we wanted to. So, that's part of this game, and especially early in the year, a lot of adjustments. They're going to be, doing things we haven't necessarily seen on film, and, same with us. So it's such a huge adjustment part of the game, and it does like that from week to week. I can remember, I think 2015 Dallas, they kind of came out in something we were not expecting. So the whole game plan kind of got flipped on its head. So, you just have to do that thing sometimes, and those adjustments and being on the sideline, communicating is such a huge part of the game.
Big Mike told us Monday that Lane Robinson got a +5 as far as finishing blocks from the coaches. Is that resonate? Is that correct from what you remember?
Yeah, we talk about like picking up guys and getting to the ball and stuff.
Yeah, can you contextualize that? Like, is that an abnormally high number, or what does that say?
No, I mean, it's something we've talked about, like offensively, how we want to play the game, playing for each other, helping our teammates up and things like that. So, Layden did a really good job on that. And it's, the message, just try to play for each other, play for your team, and things like that, which I've really enjoyed. AVP's done a great job with that.
Gerard said the other day that, the coaching staff has seen something in Lade and they think he could be a pretty special player. Yeah. What have you seen from him that's encouraged you about what kind of player he could be?
Yeah, he's a really tough guy. He wants to get it right. Very coachable in that sense. Like, you tell him something, he's going to try to do it to the best of his ability and things like that, which, as a young guy, when you're talking to a young guy, you don't want them to know that or think they have all the answers. And, they don't. And, we've all been there, and sometimes it's, frustrating, but at the same time, he just does such a great job of trying to soak up all the information he can, and trying to correct things he needs to correct and move forward. I've really enjoyed getting to work with him and think he's done a great job.
Contrast that, you talked about having enjoying Jacoby being back here.
Yeah.
I want you to appreciate, he was talking about it when you were here, his decision making and making that right decision at critical times during last week.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as much as you want it to be perfect on Sunday, it's not going to be. And the pocket movement, things like that is a huge part of that position, because it's not always going to be perfect, but knowing when to, step up or move this way, move that way, and sometimes not make a bad play worse is a huge thing. We always talk about, and obviously, like I said, like there might be, a blitz or a free, whatever it may be, right? Like, if we have to eat a loss for 5, 6, whatever it is, like, we'll eat that loss, we'll move on, versus, a catastrophe, or something, a turnover, whatever it may be. I think that's such a big thing. You never want to make a bad play worse. And I think he did a good job of that for us on Sunday.
David, in addition to not making a bad play worse, often you hear about quarterbacks, you heard a lot about Tom. Phil said this the night here at Gillette. It got you out of bad plays before they started to happen. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think, there's a lot falls on their shoulders, right? And seeing things and getting things directed on how they need to, right? And obviously we might have a play called and we might have to change the protection, change whatever it may be, the run, they're out leverage one way, we got to go the other, whatever it is, right? Like, he does a really good job of that. And I think it's because he has a great understanding of this offense and system. So, that is a huge thing. They are the driving ship, they are the, leader of the offense in that sense, like putting everybody in the right position. Or, if it's making sure the receivers are set, like something little, right, procedural, like making sure everyone's set, making sure we're legal, all that.
We talked about Layden. I know we talked about Layden, but on the other side, what can you say about Michael Jordan, the job he did in the practice squad?
Yeah, look, I didn't know MJ before this, and immediately when he came in, he's just a guy that really gravitated toward how we were trying to play, and thought he did a lot of good things for us throughout the spring and even through training camp. And obviously he's got a great opportunity with City, being banged up right now, and thought he did a good job Sunday for us. He's got a great play style. He might be the biggest guard I've ever played next to. So, but he does a great job of just buying in, trying to do the play in the system the right way, which is huge. I talked about kind of, next man up kind of thing. Like if you get 5 guys all working together and no one's out there kind of doing their own thing, you got a chance for success. And MJ's done a great job for us in that sense. Thanks, guys.
Talked about the running back. He's really good, really talented. Doesn't get talked about a lot, but he's a beast. So we got our hands full with him. We looking to just minimize the run. They get everything started with Geno off the run game. Geno's a very good quarterback, been very good with Seattle. So yeah, but we have a tough task with Kenyon Walker. He's a really good running back.
The stories you guys were talking before the quarter saying, take him to the hill. What is the hill, and how does that help you guys? The team building experience also within the team.
The hill is when we go conditioning after the practice. Guys don't feel like doing it, but it prepares us for times like Cincinnati was making a late push to try to take over the lead. So a couple guys in the locker room saying take him to the hill, and we already knew what time it was. Time to finish the game. So that's kind of like the motto, the saying. I guess going forward, that'll be the saying in the fourth quarter, especially when it's tight ball games.
Was there one guy who maybe kind of?
I remember Jacoby Brissett. He brought it up. He was like, "Let's take him to the hills," and after that, everybody just kind of like reset it. But we knew it was late in practice. We don't feel like going conditioning and just to finish it off and just finish this ball game.
Is there money to be made now off that T-shirt that you guys made?
Somebody probably already did it. So, but definitely, I'm definitely gonna copyright that though. For real.
Davon, what do you think you learned? Oh, sorry, Dan. What do you think you learned about your defense in week 1?
Fundamentals, man. It's all about fundamentals starting off in September. Nobody's really got tape on nobody, so everybody has to be, fundamentally sound, tough, physical, smart, because we put in a lot of calls that week. We had a whole week to prepare, with after the third preseason game. So just being kind of, just fundamentally sound and physical up front.
Davon, you guys were underdogs going into Cincinnati. You win that game. Now you are again now.
Don't really care about that. I tell you guys all the time, the game still has to be played. That's the reason why they got the white lines out there. Everybody in Vegas is going to make their bets, going to make, the game still got to be played, whether you're underdog or not. You saw plenty of teams going to Super Bowl underdog and came out victorious. So the game still got to be played. Nobody really cares what everybody says outside this building about, you guys are 8.5 favorites. Nobody really cares. The game still got to be played in between the white lines.
Gerard says Kenneth Walker pops off the film. What do you see when you see him?
Gerard really loves him. He was talking about him in the team meeting today. But it's just he's very good between the tackles. He can run outside. Doesn't really have a lot of top end speed, but he's very physical back. This guy's one of the most underrated backs in the league. And I'm excited for the challenge. That's why we go out today and Wednesday practice, physical work day. I'm excited for the challenge on Sunday.
Speaking of that, how tough was it here at times last year? You guys 1-7 at Gillette, 1-8 if you include Germany. How much would you like to kind of get off to a good start?
Have to take care of home field. That's one of the biggest things we got to focus on in the 2024 season. Have to take care of home field advantage. We didn't do a good job of that last year, of course. But yeah, it starts Sunday with Seattle. We have to take care of it, and we got to start fast. I thought we started fast again against Cincinnati. That would help us out, like 3 3-and-outs in a row. We're not going to 3-and-out everybody, but that's always the motto. But we have to start fast on Sunday. Have to.
Marcus put a lot on the guys' offensive line. I think 77% of the time, which is a 4-man bunch.
Yeah.
What does that say to you about the faith he has in you and the group that you have up front?
It's a big game against Cincinnati for Keon White. And a couple other guys play great too when it comes to pass rushing. But I thought Keon White got after it. That's just him showing faith in us, trust. But we work on those things in practice. When it's not a blitz, now it's time to win for it. We're not gonna bet a blitz every play. So you gotta help those guys out in the back end and get a good 4-man rush. And I thought we did a good job of that on Sunday. And we got to take advantage of this. Another mobile quarterback in Geno Atkins who can scramble if you let him, if you open a rush lane. So we have to take advantage of that on Sunday.
How hard is it preparing for an offensive coordinator like Seattle's, who's only been a college coordinator? Are you guys hitting up maybe Jalen Polk a little bit this week?
He's going to have some no huddle in there. The college game is built on no huddle and fast plays. So we got to just make sure we lined up and set. I look at it like everybody's going to, it's hard to prepare for our defense because we do so much. 3-4, 4-3, we do so much, but they're definitely going to have a game plan in there with some no huddle. I can definitely see that, especially coming from college.
Gerard has talked a lot about communicating to the guys to take ownership of their role out there and also understand the overall concept of what you guys are trying to do. I'm just curious what your experience has been like communicating with Gerard, just person to person.
I said this before I got signed. Being a nose tackle is not always going to be the most. You're not going to get the highlight plays. You're going to get a lot of double teams. You're going to do a lot of stuff for other people to make plays, and that's kind of my role. Me and Gerard talked about that when he was a linebackers coach here. So that's just kind of and when I have the opportunity to be one-on-one, it's time for me to make the play. So my role is basically just do all the dirty work. When it's time for me to make plays, the play's going to come to me. So I don't really have to go out there and chase plays. I got to play in the scheme of the defense, and when it's time for me to make the play, it's my time to execute.
Davon, I'm curious, maybe this hasn't happened since camp, but Leighton Robinson, rookie offensive lineman for you guys, have you had a chance to go against him much in practice, and what have you thought of him? Because it seems like he's impressed someone.
Man, I told them when they first got him, I said he's going to be a good player. Of course, coming from the SEC. But when we first got him, I just knew like the fight, like the dog in him. I like to say it. I knew he was going to be a good player, and it doesn't surprise me what he's doing on Sunday. And now he has to know that he's not a rookie anymore because we expect that each and every game now. Like what you did on Sunday, mauling guys to the ground, pancaking guys. I know for sure I expect that I'm sure Gerard expect that each and every game. So him, 70. We don't expect. After the first game you guys played, got a lot of snaps. We don't expect you guys to be rookies anymore. It's time for you guys to take the next step. So I'm excited for him.
Thanks, man.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.